35-year-old Jonah Adams is behind bars and is accused of fatally shooting his ex-girlfriend and her 3 children in a Richmond, Virginia home. The bodies were discovered in the house at 4275 Laurel Oak Road after police responded to a 911 call about a disturbance at the property at just before 5 a.m. on Friday the 18th of November. Chesterfield police identified the victims as 39-year-old Joanna Cottle, 13-year-old Kaylin Parson, and 4-year-old twins Kinsey and Jason Cottle. Police said Jonah, who was previously in a relationship with Joanna and is the father of the twins, was identified as the suspect in their murders. The authorities said that through investigative techniques, they were able to place Jonah at the vicinity of the crime scene at around 4 a.m. He was arrested later that day at 2 p.m. near his home in Waldorf, Maryland, and is charged with 4 counts of murder. Lieutenant Colonel Chris Hensley of the Chesterfield Police said Joanna was the person who actually called the authorities. She called 911 about a possible intruder at her home. Chris said she remained on the line until gunshots were heard, and then the phone went silent. Chris said that when the authorities arrived, the suspect had already fled. No direct motive was provided for the shootings. However, Chris said there were hints of a turbulent relationship between Joanna and Jonah that friends and family members described in interviews with detectives. There was a previous protective order involving the former couple, not in effect now, that we have identified, he said. He added that there also appeared to be a conflict over the 4-year-old twins that Jonah fathered with Joanna. I don't know if there was a custody dispute or a disagreement, he said. Those are the worst scenes involving kids. There's no cop that forgets a scene like that, he said. Jonah remains in custody on murder charges as the investigation into the matter continues. 22-year-old Anderson Lee Aldridge has been held as the alleged perpetrator of the shooting at an LGBT club in Colorado, in which at least 5 people have died and 25 injured over the weekend. Colorado Springs Police Chief Adrian Vasquez explained that some of those injured are in a critical condition, so the death toll could rise. The incident occurred in the adult venue called Club Q, located at 3430 North Academy Boulevard in Colorado Springs, Colorado, which hosts cross-dressing shows, among other activities, and is being investigated as a possible hate crime. The authorities said that an alert was received at around 11:56 a.m. on the 19th of November, and a few minutes later, patrols went to the scene. The suspect, who was subdued by those present at the club, was arrested and taken into custody. Adrian said the assailant entered the club and immediately began shooting at the attendees. While the suspect was inside the club, at least 2 heroic people confronted him, fought him, and were able to stop him from going on with the killing, he added. The injured were transported in private vehicles to various hospitals. At least 2 firearms had been found at the scene. A long rifle was used during the shooting, and police are investigating whether others assisted the suspect. Through a Facebook post, Club Q declared itself devastated by this senseless attack on the community. A homicide investigation is underway after a man was found shot multiple times inside a vehicle in Reading, Pennsylvania. At around 10 p.m. on Friday the 18th of November, the authorities responded to reports of a car crash in the parking lot of Gateway Building in the 200 block of Penn Street. When they arrived, they discovered a gunshot victim inside a car. The victim, identified as 37-year-old David Anderson of Pottsville, had suffered multiple gunshot wounds and was transported to the Reading Hospital in a critical condition, where he was pronounced dead shortly thereafter. Police said that a fight broke out between the victim and an unknown suspect or suspects. The fight then escalated into a fatal shooting. The suspect's description has not been released, but police said there's no danger to the public at this time. The investigation is ongoing, and anyone with information relating to the incident is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. 42-year-old Letitia Sharp is behind bars after police say she punched a 3-year-old boy. On the afternoon of Friday the 18th of November, the authorities were dispatched to a home in North Elliott Street in Evansville, Indiana, on a report of a domestic battery in progress. When officers arrived at the premises, they found a young boy wearing pajamas and had blood all over his face. A man in a mobilised wheelchair informed the deputies that Letitia and the child were watching TV together, and Letitia allegedly punched the child out of nowhere. The man told police that he was also struck by Letitia after he began to yell at her for striking the child just before she left the house. Shortly after, police found Letitia hiding in the backyard. The officers on scene were told that Letitia stated that she hit the 3-year-old boy because he called her a derogatory name. She was arrested and transported to the Vanderburg County Jail. She's charged with battery on a person less than 14 years old and simple assault. 7 people being shot, 1 fatally when gunfire erupted during a weekend dice game in Mississippi. The Yazoo County Sheriff's Office said that a group of people were enjoying a bonfire and music at Wells Ranch in Bentonia at about 12:30 a.m. Sunday, when an apparent disagreement during a dice game sparked the shooting. The Yazoo County Sheriff, his name's Jake Sheriff, said calls about the shooting came in at around 12:41 a.m. Jake said that 7 people were shot. The injuries ranged from bullets to a shoulder, hand, arm, hip and side, and 1 person was listed in a critical condition after being shot in the head, he said. The deceased victim was identified as 27-year-old Christopher Turnage of Yazoo County. Jake said no arrests had been made, and there are no suspects due to the chaos at the scene, but believes there may be multiple shooters involved. The investigation into the matter continues.